Brooke Alexander with WorldBeat, and welcome to another stellar edition of the world's first and only global music show. Coming up, behind the scenes on the biggest rock tour of the year. Stevie Nicks, her first new solo album in 7 years. And the timeless sounds of a violin virtuoso. Well, since the release last October of their latest album, All That You Can't Leave Behind, U2 has certainly proven their staying power with 3 Grammys and a sold-out world tour. Well, we sat down with the Irish rockers at their Dublin studio shortly before the release of this album, and the band has since given WorldBeat exclusive access to the production behind the Elevation tour and the making of their latest music video. This is WorldBeat on tour with U2.
U2 has always aimed at being the most cutting edge, not just in its music, but in the production of its concerts. From the huge television screens and satellite-fed images of its Zoo TV tour, to the anything-goes spectacle of its 1997 pop tour, fans and critics have never known quite what to expect. With the new album deeply rooted in rock and roll, U2 is taking its show indoors for the first time in more than 10 years and putting the focus back on the music.
The album, I think, lends itself to a size of venue that will mean that the audience and the band are really sort of in this thing together, that the music will work in that context.
For the biggest band in rock today, even the 15,000-seat indoor arenas have become intimate venues.
So we're not talking about clubs, but
Madison Square Garden's a kind of club.
it is to us. That's what I'm glad, yeah.
For us. Isn't that just real megalomania, just run amok? On Pop Mart, I felt us losing the crowd for the very first time. There was a couple of nights when the spectacle turned into a monster, you know, and the monster ate us instead of us eating the monster, which was the plan. And I remember it in Los Angeles. I remember just feeling it. There's people out there with popcorn. I can smell it, you know, and I'm just going, yeah. You can reach. And it said something. But you can't grab it. It said that this balance between songs and spectacle is really like that. Our thing from the very beginning has always been the same, you know, which is to try and break down the distance between the performer and the audience. Even more than the production, the emotional proximity is very important. I mean, I've been to see bands in clubs and felt 100 miles from the lead singer. So we try to get lost in the songs, and that's really where you connect.
The past 2 U2 tours, which have all been about this high-tech spectacle, that was wonderful then because nobody else could do it. Either because the technology wasn't available, or they didn't have the money, or they didn't have the know-how. Whereas those kind of high-tech shows are commonplace now. You know, if a group wants a high-tech show, they can buy one, you know. But nobody can walk on stage in broad daylight and tear the house down like U2 can. simplest things, the projection things, the very simple images, really seem to resonate with the audience and obviously enhance the whole energy that the band gives. And that's been the biggest surprise, and it's been quite delightful.
Blending the right mix of image and sound takes months of planning and then hundreds of people to create a production that can be moved from city to city overnight and across the world in a span of 5 months.
Well, the first thing is realize that our system is going to be the same every day, but what we have to do at the mercy of every building. Like the roof characteristics are different, there's different beams to hang from, there's different heights, and the floor spaces are different, the accesses are different. You might have to come in tight on the stage left side, some places you're near, and that's the only thing, that's just adapting that. So you wanted activity, and there you go.
Pretty much the rhythm section, like the tightness between the two of them, is the foundation that I build and construct the whole sound upon, you know, and it's those two guys going for it, hammer and tongs, and we just layer the various different levels of sound on top of that, then with the guitars and keyboard parts and vocals on top.
Really dials in each guitar and for that song. Other guitarists that I work for and tour with, they'll use maybe 3 guitars in a show, 4 guitars. He's using right now 12 guitars in the show, and they're song specific. And so when Bono calls something improv, which he does, you know, it's how they do it, then you have to really think what guitar might be the one that Edge will use, even though we haven't discussed this song, or he doesn't have the guitar on right now that was used on the record for that song.
It's always been the 4 of them, and that's always been the way they've looked at things. You know, it's the 4 guys up there on the stage giving it their all.
The big face-off between the good and the evil U2. And I don't know why it is, but the evil U2 get all this light behind them, and the good U2 have a lot of wind.
All right, everybody, here we go. Role play man.
Ending up in the 4th dimension again.
Have we just joined Kiss, the Edge?
Have
we just joined Kiss?
A little bit, yeah. Okay, good.
Joseph, check.
How are you doing, Evil Bono?
After all these years, all that they said would happen has. Look at the state of you. Look at the state of you.
You go to a rock and roll band and you're not quite sure what's going to happen. I love that, you know. I saw Radiohead the other day. It reminded me of why I got in a rock and roll band in the first place. It's just this incredible sense of this thing could just about do anything at this point. And you don't get that feeling from pop music so much, you know. It's like it's about hitting your marks. It's about, you know, everything coming off the way it was supposed to. And for me, that's why I still love seeing a rock and roll band live. Is danger, I suppose.
When we return, it's WorldBeat's exclusive global top 10 chart and the latest music news.